So Lakers are coming off a stretch. We play the Pelicans today at the time that I'm recording this, so we'll see how it looks. But so I'm recording this after beating the two Clippers. We play the Pelicans today, so maybe I look totally stupid by the time this comes out, but I don't think I will. I've been talking about the mental side of sports, and one thing that I said on Twitter was that I thought that while it's unfortunate that Rui and Reeves are out, I think it's good for Luka, and that's ultimately going to be good for our team. And the reason why I said that is because when you take two scorers off the board, and with Rui and Reeves, you're taking anywhere from 30 to 40, 45 points a night off the board right then and there. On a bad night, Reeves has like 20 or Rui has 20 and the other one has like 10. You know what I'm saying? So it's like it's one of like 30, 40, 45 points every single night you're just taking straight off the board with those guys being out. And especially with Reeves, because he's a good playmaker, especially in the way JJ Redick is using him, you're really taking more than that, because his assists, and even when he doesn't get credit for assists, the things that he can do to initiate offense is taken off the board. And you have to make that up somewhere. And the thing about it is, when you are taking that off the board, especially when you have a point guard like Luka is, they understand it's on them to make it up. And so, like, that's one of the things that is different about Luka with Anthony Davis, because Anthony Davis is not really a score-first guy, and just honestly, because he's a big and he needs somebody to get him the ball, it's just harder to be this way. There's a mental adjustment with Luka where he knows, okay, I have to score. So even if I'm not shooting well, I have to shoot it, and I have to look to shoot it. I have to do it because we just don't have the horses. Like, even if LeBron goes off tonight, we don't have the horses outside of it to where even if he went off, he still needs me to do it. Like, I have to do it no matter what. And getting a couple of games in like that, when he's working himself back into shape, and when he's joined a new team, and this season in general, he hasn't quite been himself, especially since he's come to LA. He's kind of been a little off with his shot. It benefits a player like him, because now it allows him, not that he's lacking in confidence, but to build back up the confidence and the know-how mentally of, I am required to do this night in, night out. And here I am, and because I'm required to do this, I am coming into the game, and every second I am on the floor, I am in attack mode, because I have to be. They need me to be that in order for us to have a chance to win. When you have that kind of mindset, even once those other guys come back, now you're in a groove of attacking. Because when mentally, when you're not quite sure, or when you're going off of, okay, when I'm hot, then I'll go, you don't give yourself enough room to get hot if you don't quite shoot it that well in the beginning of the game. And that's not something that on the Mavericks Luka ever had to worry about, because even with Kyrie Irving, there was nobody else to take the ball out of his hands. You know what I mean? So he was always on go mode, even when he was off that night. See, with the Lakers, Luka might just be off, especially early when he got here last couple of games. He might just be off and just get that bitch up and let them do it. You know what I mean? Because he's trying not to disrupt the chemistry and the flow of the offense and dominate it, and he don't want nobody to feel like, okay, yeah, you Luka Doncic, but come on, bro, we've been rolling before you got here. You know what I mean? Like, he didn't want to disrupt that. So with them being gone, it allows him to get back in that groove, and that's good for him, because even when they're back, his second sense almost. His sixth sense, I should say. His sixth sense of go and killer and attack and shoot that bitch is just because it's in a groove, because they've been gone, it is going to be easier for him to find his groove no matter who is on the floor with him. And that's the mental side of sports that if you've never played a sport, I don't know if you quite understand how important that is to an athlete. It's one of those things where like people see these fluctuations or these we know what you can do from a skill set perspective, so why is that not translating onto the court? And they're not thinking about the dynamics of a team or what's going on, the context surrounding it. And sometimes we're just not privy to those dynamics. Like, we never knew for the longest portion of the season that Derek White had things going on that had him not really enjoying coming to work and playing basketball. And that might have been why he had a whole bunch of nights where he was struggling shooting the ball. We didn't even know that. We would have never knew that unless they came out and said it. They might have had discussions about that privately. Some of the reporters may have knew. Some of the people around the team may have knew. And maybe they reported on it locally. But for the most part, most fans don't know that kind of stuff. We don't know that. So, given the things that we don't know, in the times that we do know stuff, if we understand the mind of an athlete and how some of the mental hurdles go into it and some of the things that they may be thinking when they're out on the court, it'll help explain a lot of the things that you see when you're looking on the court, and it'll help you be able to evaluate how dire or how good or whatever a player or a situation is. And I think that's important. I think that is what you've been seeing in a place like Philadelphia, where when Paul George was talking about how, yeah, I'm just kind of disengaged because they got me playing a lot of 4-5 a lot of the times, and I don't get to chase nobody around on defense, and it just kind of make me not really engaged with the game because it's like, you know what I mean? And people are like killing him because it's like, Paul, you get paid all this money. You're supposed to be the best player. You can't be disengaged. And I agree with that. But at the same time, I do understand it where it's just like, yeah, bro, I know it sounds crazy, but some nights, bro, you just go out there, you don't have it, or like the game is going a certain type of way. Like, have you ever, okay, if you guys have played a sport, tell me if you felt this. Have y'all ever felt like a game went on a really long ass time? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just one of those games where maybe it's like football and y'all are just not scoring and it's a defensive battle, or maybe y'all kicking somebody's butt and it just feels like it's going on. Whatever it is, sometimes it can be close and y'all are battling for a long time, but you're either getting the results you want or not getting the results you want, or something's happening out there that is just making it feel like sometimes you're just out there doing stuff because it feels like, for whatever reason, this game today is very long. It feels like we've been playing for forever. Like, for example, I played football and basketball. I was nowhere near good at basketball, really. I understand the sport. I can talk the sport. I can evaluate the sport. But as far as going out there and playing it, I wasn't really good at it. But I was good at football. It's just one of those things where football is so much more of a team sport. If you're not playing skill position, like if you're not playing running back, quarterback, wide receiver on offense, or if you're not playing quarterback, like middle linebacker or DB, it's just one of those things where it's hard to evaluate individual play, and how good you are may not necessarily come across to the average person, or might not matter, but the people on your team know. And so, like, I play center and then I play nose guard on defense. So sometimes, though, especially in high school, bro, like, sometimes those games, just whether it was I can remember a specific one. We won a game 7-0 against this team. It was a high school called Emerald. And it was like a defensive battle because neither one of us could score. And we scored going into halftime, never scored after that. They never scored, right? And it was just very difficult, like, to stay engaged somewhere around the middle of the third quarter, because it just really felt like we had been out there for 2 hours, dog. Like, it felt like that game was just very long. It felt like we played a lot during that game. And I just remember, like, being physically tired from all the beating up that was going on, especially at the line of scrimmage. Like, those lines were great. Like, it's just, despite the physical exhaustion, the mental exhaustion of, holy shit, bro, we still got 5 minutes left in the third. Like, it's just now 8 minutes to go in the fourth. Like, you know what I mean? The mental exhaustion of it just feeling long out there. And I would imagine that's some of the stuff that Paul George is going through when he was talking about that kind of stuff, where it's just like, bro, sometimes that game just probably feels really long. It feels like nothing much has happened, especially for you. You kind of getting disengaged. And if your seasons start feeling long, especially then, it started to feel like, boy, we coming in here day in, day out, week in, week out, and it's just, like, you might have checked out at the 40 game mark. You know what I'm saying? Like, and they expecting y'all to go on like a 10-0 run, and like each shit, y'all can put together like 6-win run, and it might not mean nothing for your real standings. And it's like, I don't, like, do we even care at this point? Like, you hear NBA players talk about all the time where it's just like, yeah, especially if you're on a losing team, that season long, boy. Season is very, very long. And I believe them because I've been in moments like that. Like, our second year, my high school year, my sophomore year of high school, all of us on JV have moved up to varsity, and all of our varsity players, over half the team, were seniors that year before. And everybody that wasn't a senior, like that was a junior, when they became seniors, almost all of our skill position and linemen went to other schools because they said that we were going to be trash. Now, to be fair, we probably would have been better if they were there. But they were right, we were trash that year. Mind you, though, we were very good the next 2 years. So, you know what I'm saying? Had some of the 11th graders been there, maybe they wouldn't have been able to kick it with us. But some of the 10th graders that were there when we were 9th graders, y'all should have damn stayed. But my 10th grade year was a very long year. We kept losing. We kept getting yelled at. It was just, it was a long season, bro. It just felt like when you're winning, it feels like it goes pretty quick because you get to 8, 9. You know what I'm saying? Especially in a row, because like my JV year, we went 8-0, and then we went 7-0. We went 7 straight. The last game we won was that Emerald game, and then I was our starting center. I hurt myself in practice. We lose the next 3, and as a matter of fact, our JV team did not win another game until my senior year. So from my freshman year to my senior year, the last game that we won was the last game that I played. Because the rest of the season, we played 11 games. We went 0-4. And it was against teams we should have beat. We were 7-0 for a reason. The hard part of our schedule had passed. We should have beat a lot of the teams that we faced after I got hurt. But it was hard when the entire line falls apart because I'm gone. But anyways, it's that next year, like I was saying, just felt very long because it wasn't the same as the year before. Like when you go from JV kicking everybody's ass to you get on varsity and y'all getting y'all ass kicked every night, you only win 2 games, and the 2 games are against the same team from the rival high school that you know you go beat. You chalk that up to a win. Like it's one of those things where it's like, damn, like, yeah, buckle in, buddy. You know what I mean? So the mental side of sports is very important. And I just said that because I don't necessarily know if I know most fans didn't really play sports, so maybe they don't, or like organized sports, say they don't know. Like I've been, even though I wasn't that good at basketball. My uncle coached basketball. Both of my uncles coached basketball and football. So it's like, I not only did I play football, but I was also there playing when we went to the out of state tournaments. I was there on the AAU trips. I was there during practices. Like, even though I wasn't playing for the basketball teams, like, I was there. I was there watching, being in practice, being around the team, stuff like that. So I understand what goes into it from an athlete's point of view, because like my friends during that time were playing sports, or like my acquaintances during that time were playing sports, and I was just around them all the time. I was around all the teams, like, you know what I mean. So I know, just being there and in there, what the mental side looks like, and just playing myself, I know what the mental side looks like a lot of the times. And I don't know if the average fan can relate to it, but that's why I think that athletes and former athletes at a high level and at a lower level alike should talk about those things more, where it's just like, okay, this is what goes into it from an athlete's perspective. Because I know my boy Blick does that a lot, especially like when we're talking. He talks about that a lot, where it's like, okay, this is the mental side, or this is the part that people don't see about being an athlete. Because I don't know if he still plays soccer, but he was playing, or football, but he was playing football. So yeah, yeah, those are my thoughts on it. I just wanted to come on and talk about it because I think it's one of those things that doesn't get highlighted enough. Provide some personal examples and just, ramble about it, because it was one of those things that I had on my mind because I've been talking about it. So yeah, appreciate you guys for watching. Peace.